upon a time, there were millions of businesses struggling. Every day, they wasted time, effort, and money on repetitive tasks that added no value. One day, the Better Automation podcast by PROCESIO came to show them the way. Because of this, these businesses save time, reduce costs, innovate, and make much better decisions. Because of that, these businesses grow, prosper, and use human creativity to change this world. Hello, my name is Aziz, and I'm your host at Better Automation Podcast by PROCESIO, where I interview the world's top experts and share their best ideas on how to improve automation in your business, processes, and life. My guest today is Sabbir Ahmed, and I'm very honored to have him here. Sabbir is a professional automation developer who ran the automation department of a seven-figure software development company as a head engineer. Sabbir built over 200 automations, 100 plus apps connected using no-code and low-code platforms. He is from Sylhet, a small city in Bangladesh known for its beauty. Sabbir, how are you today?
Hello, doing great. It's an honor to me as well to be in here in this podcast with you, Aziz. And we are going to discuss so much thing about automation, so much thing about integration and business workflow today. I believe it's going to help a lot of people, a lot of business owners especially, to reduce the human input in their workload. So I guess we're ready to go.
I'm ready, and I notice your excitement and I love the energy and I believe everything you said. So what is your story? I mean, how did you get into automation in the first place?
So I started off as a web developer when I was a kid. When I was in high school, I used to do basic level of like HTML, CSS, build a very bare bone websites. But my real interest in this particular department, in the automation and the integration especially, came into when I started offering my services to my customers for initially it was just 2 weeks in their WordPress, 2 weeks in their CRMs, stuff like that. But as soon as I started learning about that, you can do much more than just coding, just writing scripts. Then I started offering services on how to reduce the workload from writing a lot of codes to minimal amount of codes, and it can execute more than you can do by professional developers. You can do it yourself. Then based on that, I started offering my services to my customers, especially with automation and integration.
Did you work on any kind of project that seemed super interesting to you or that you're proud of, or something that the return on automation was wonderful, or saving those human hours that are wasted on repetitive tasks, or creating more of a predictable, reliable way to do the work? Like anything you can share, any such stories?
Yes, I do. And it was a recent one. In the last, I think 2 months ago, I started to work with a client of mine, and the best thing about the project was that it was involving bunches of statistics, bunches of reports from different places, from his e-commerce store, from his CRM data. All of this, what he used to do is he used to manually get those data from different places, groups them together in a Google Sheet spreadsheet, and then what he'd do, he'd create charts, different types of charts. It was labor intensive work. It was very hard for him to just get those things into a spreadsheet. It took him 7 days a week to get those data into the spreadsheet. So when he reached out to me, I started showing him how he can do this using leveraging the API that those platforms provide, and he can use those APIs to get those data without having to manually go into those places, get those data, manually copy and pasting Control C, Control V without doing this stuff. He could just write, I can just write him a scenario. I can just build an automation for him that will just get this data and put it to whatever the places he wants. As soon as he just got this like idea that you can do those stuff, he just was amazed. Like, what was I doing with all of my lives? Like, there was just several, probably 3 to 4 years of what he was doing as data entry expert. It could be done probably probably a few weeks of automation. The power was like really immense for him. Yeah, this is the work that I'm very proud of.
I like that. And it's true because time and human life is the most precious thing we have. And to waste it on something that we don't even need to do at all. I remember, Peter Drucker spoke about this, that the worst thing is doing efficiently things that shouldn't be done at all. So to you though, you mentioned the time he was spending, all the manual labor. Is that like the biggest frustration that clients come to you with? Or is it that they're trying to save costs or doing something else? Like, what are the biggest automation needs and reasons for those automation needs that you come across with businesses today?
Yeah, so it is not only because of there more manual works involved right now. There are various reasons people need automation in their like whatever the business they are running. First of all, the main category of businesses that I'd say that are interested in automation are someone that doing like e-commerce, receiving money through online, doing stuff with like payment provider, and as well as people who are using CRM, which I believe most of the businesses do. And those people are interested in using automation because the automation can just not only just reduce the manual work, but also streamline. Like for example, I have a client where usually what you do is when you created a task in a particular place, you wanted this task to be replicated in other places. So it just streamlines all of those tasks and records in a Google Sheet so that he can take the glance into all of his tasks and reportings from one particular sheet without having to just go through a bunch of other places. So basically it comes down to work. It reduces the time required for doing any sort of work, but also it also streamlines the project, streamlines the work you have. And most of all, you get to have 2 weekend days that you can like however you love to enjoy. You can get to have those weekends because if you use automation properly in your department, otherwise you'll be working from 9 to 5, 7 days a week. And this is how most of my clients like share their experience with using automation and after using automation.
So if I understood you correctly, if they don't use automation, even their weekend will be spent working, but because they use tools, whether the ones you use or PROCESIO or anything like that, they can automate so that they can have peace of mind on the weekend and know that even when they're not at home, things are happening automatically. And actually, it's wonderful. I think Warren Buffett was speaking about this, and Bill Gates as well, that when you can be making money when you sleep, that's like when you become a real business person, not someone with a glorified job. And so it's basically automation allows you to not need, because one of the things, people, you need to train and find the best people. And to find the best people, competitors or others will offer them a lot more money probably than a small business owner can, or even if you get them at some point, they will want to start their own business. But the automations and AI or software or SaaS, it's there forever waiting to work for you without ever quitting or taking a day off or calling in sick or deciding to leave and start its own business. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah. So about like getting those platforms connected, when you have integration between platforms, so their SaaS platform, it is actually called iPaaS, which means like integration platform as a service. There are Zapier, then you've got Make, you've got PROCESIO, and a bunch of other likes. There are right now like many platforms like CRMs have native integration with platforms like Slack, your Gmail, any sort of email providers you have. So using those integration, it's not only just helpful for your business, but it just reduces so much cost. Like for example, you have, I tweeted this a few days earlier, that you have, when you get an employee for do manual work, you have to pay probably somewhere between two to 4,000 for data entry experts per month. But what a worker make and Zapier is charging you just less than $30 a month, and you get so much stuff out of it. It's just like insane amount of value. First of all, people just don't understand what like basic setup of Zapier. They just want to they have just one reason. For example, I want to take invoices from my e-commerce to QuickBooks. I'm gonna just do that through Zapier or Integromat or Make.com, whatever the platform they chose. But you just don't know that you could send an email as soon as someone purchases your product on e-commerce. You could upsell your product. You could just build all of those logic within those platforms, and building those logics can just insanely grow your business, grow your e-commerce store, get you more sales. So this is how you can utilize platforms like this to on your advantage.
Thank you. And I believe automation is very important. At which stages maybe business owners should begin to consider automation or need it or see immediate impact and ROI? Or is it something you say even before you start your business, begin your automation plan right with your business plan? Or what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah. So when you start a new business, you're gonna need to use some platforms. I believe some people start with must go with Google Workspace. That includes Google Sheet, Google Doc, and if you want to do like some sort of online payment, e-banking, stuff like that, you are gonna need payment provider like PayPal, their Stripe, and you obviously need a website. And then whatever the website you have, and then more than that, you're gonna have a CRM to know your clients, know your contacts, leads, email marketing, stuff like that. So it just does not happen before you start a business. When you go and start a new business, then you start to utilize those apps, to learn about those apps, and then you start implementing those in your business processes. So the automation comes after you have implemented those apps in your business, and then you can just brainstorm that if I have this information here, I want this to go here, then I want to know all of those reports mean, I want to follow up my clients, I want to send out probably discount codes, and you can all do that from automation. So this process comes after you have done implementing those apps in your business processes.
I really see the value. It's really, really valuable. Let's say someone hired you to do a project for them to automate parts of their business or their whole business. How does that work? I mean, what's the first step? What do you need to understand about their business? What are the first things you usually try to automate, and how does it go?
Yeah, so most people have a basic idea of what the automation means. For example, they want to create invoices for their orders on probably Shopify. They have Teachable account. They do online coaching, stuff like that. So they do have a basic idea of what they want to do, what information should go where. And based on that, I start I have a template which I usually provide to my client that just contains a step-by-step processes of how the automation will look like. And I just run it through him, through a call, or probably through message, if he can confirm or she can confirm if the requirements are correct, then we go ahead and start building the automation. I usually suggest that people to go with I provide pros and cons of different automation platform we have, like Zapier, PROCESIO, and Make. And so based on those like pros and cons. User or my clients get to choose which one to use for their business process. So this is how I just go and start a new project.
Thank you. And you're well aware of the state of automation tools and the marketplace. What do you see is their strength? Not specifically like anyone, but what is missing that sometimes you're doing your work and you're like, oh, I wish this existed. I wish these tools did this or that or automatically handled whatever part that is a little bit frustrating currently.
Yeah, as for the marketplace right now and overall the industry of automation, it's obviously going to expand like very rapidly, just like AI did, just like all of the machine learning stuff that doing right now. So automation is going to expand, and it's currently expanding as well. But what we are not seeing is that people are not aware of the automation properly. We have not like you don't see automation and integration as a mainstream trends on like say like social media or by high profile uh, like celebrities we have, and as well as like billionaires are not talking about this like in a like very broad subject. But AI, things like machine learning and like Web3, for instance, a recent one, you agree is those are getting more traction. But as for like something that is consumer level, something that is ready for all the business out there, AI actually is not. I don't need AI right now because I don't have a large data set to use for my business, and I believe most of the businesses are like the same. So we are not getting proper. I think it's not just me; it's just the entire industry is not getting a like a spotlight from the media or from higher authority right now. So this is what I think is missing from the industry right now.
Thank you. That's absolutely wonderful. And what is your personal passion for automation? I mean, in your own life, do you appreciate more how it makes your life better by saving you time, by reducing your frustration? Do you use it yourself? How could people, not just businesses, just benefit in their day-to-day life from adding more automation into their existence? Because we live in modern time with almost miraculous tools that can do so many things, whether like you said, PROCESIO or any of the others, even people for their own virtual lives. How do you think they can benefit from more automation?
Yeah, about that. Like for myself, I'm like currently using it extensively as much as I can. In like involving my social media, my like email marketing tools, all of those in like platforms I'm connecting each other so that I get like more reach out, more like attention throughout social media, stuff like that. So I can do this because I know how to utilize automation and no code platforms properly. One of the like best example I can give you is right now I am offering services through different platforms. Offering services on Fiverr, Upwork, there are freelancer.com, and a ton of other marketplaces. But I need a single place to just keep track of all the projects that have been posted on those platforms. I cannot just go and refresh the web page every single time, probably in 5 minute with 5 minute interval, because there's gonna be a job posted and I would miss it out because since I could not find the time or I didn't know about it. What I did is I connected the API and those platforms provide RSS feed, and what you can do is you can create those like aggregate those RSS feed, API, and all other features like email notification, and then you can run those script, those automation every 5 minutes, and it's gonna refresh those pages and look for if there is a new project waiting to be like bid, and I get those notification instantly within 5 minutes on my phone, and it rings when there's a high value project and that needs attention of mine. So this is what helps me like get more project compared to like other people I know. There are designers, there are other developers I know, but I've got friends with good amount of freelancers, and I know, but they just don't have those like capabilities. They don't know about those processes, but I know, and that's why I'm utilizing it.
Thank you so much. And I'm happy you mentioned all the places where you're offering your services. But if someone is listening right now and they would like to get in touch with you, to use your services to improve their lives, to, like you said, when you have such a dashboard that gives you an overview of all the different things, well, a lot of business people will find that useful to help them make better decisions by having like a dashboard that lets them know everything going on in their business, their financial situation, how many leads, how many sales, all those things, so that they're a better business person, or saving time, or reducing costs by needing less employees, but focusing on the more creative, more competent ones and not needing repetitive tasks done. Well, what's the best place specifically for people to contact you? And I'll make sure I write it in the description as well.
Yeah. Okay. People can find me through Upwork, and if you search my name, it should come up, and they can find me on Fiverr. But I would suggest they do through Twitter so that we can just contact directly without having to go through a middleman like Upwork and Fiverr. But like as you say, I am like available like all the places you can name. I'm available all the places. So yeah, so you can just write down the Upworks, for instance, on the description.
Thank you so much. And I love Twitter, so I'll make sure to include that. And this podcast really is made by one of the kindest and best people I know at PROCESIO. And PROCESIO is the modern low-code, no-code platform for advanced automation and creating an enterprise-grade backend for your software. It's really, really powerful. You can even use it to create a backend and integrate with anything else you're using. And any person listening can request free access to have a free account and try PROCESIO at procesio.com. So I'll include those links in the description as well. Thank you, Sabbir. Again, it's my privilege, my honor. I can see and feel you spent a lot of time thinking through the benefits, the use cases, everything that's interesting about automation, and that you live and breathe this. And I hope for your prosperity and a lot of success in everything you do.
Thank you, you as well. It was a lovely moment for me to talk to you about the things that I like, the things that I like very interested to talk about. I don't usually get the people like the market, as I said, is not actually as broad. There are very few experts and very few people who understand the market. So thank you as well for like having me here.
Very true, and I'll try to get them, as many of them, on this podcast as possible. Goodbye, and thank you again.